Good afternoon. When Professor Tahir Mahmood is in chair, youngsters like me get nervous. And that's why I had to make a request to get a podium, so at least there is some distance between me and him. But what a privilege it is to speak while he is in chair. India is the seventh largest country of the world, the second most populous country with over 1.2 billion people, and the most populous democracy in the world. India is pluralistic, multilingual, and multi-ethnic country. Four religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism originated here, whereas Zoroastrianism and the Abrahamic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam arrived in the first millennium of Christian era and also shaped India's diverse culture. The Indian economy is the world's seventh largest by nominal GDP and third largest by purchasing power parity, PPP as it is called, a nuclear weapons state and a regional power. It has the third largest standing army in the world and ranks ninth in the military expenditure among nations. According to IMF, as of October 2015, the Indian economy is nominally worth US dollars 2.182 trillions. It is the seventh largest economy by market exchange rates and is at US dollars 8.27 trillion dollars, the third largest by purchasing power parity or PPP. According to 2011 PricewaterhouseCoopers report, India's GDP at purchasing power parity could overtake that of United States by 2045. Religion has always been an indispensable part of our lives. In a country as diverse as India, the predicament of protecting religious minorities within a majoritarian religious culture becomes even more significant. In the words of Sir Harcourt Butler, the Indians are essentially religious, as Europeans are essentially secular. Religion is essentially the alpha and omega of India's life. Gandhiji was convinced that genuine religion constructed bridges of solidarity between people. Authentic religion speaks of harmony, not of sectarianism. Jawaharlal Nehru, our first Prime Minister, once described communalism as Indian version of fascism. On independence, when country got divided and the divided part became a theocracy, we in India opted for secularism. But we did not create a wall of separation between church and state. Rather, our choice of secularism was specifically stated in the Constituent Assembly as an assurance to minorities that their religion and their law and their religious places would be protected. The Constitution talks of equal treatment of all religions, including minority religions. It talks of absence of discrimination in terms of religious minorities and gives them special rights because the Constituent Assembly, because the framers in the Constituent Assembly were convinced that individual universal rights in themselves are not enough to preserve the distinctive group identities. Indian Constitution is indeed a far-sighted document. In fact, there was a debate, should we start our preamble with God? And then it was voted out, God lost in the vote, and that's why the Constitution is secular. We could have become a Hindu Rashtra, but at that point of time, we decided to opt for scientific temper and a spirit of inquiry. The freedom of religion guaranteed under Indian Constitution extends to propagation, it extends to professing a religion, it talks of public demonstration of religion, but the courts in India have restricted these religious freedoms, and therefore in a number of cases the court said we would decide what is essential and what is non-essential features of one's religion. And then there are decisions which say mosque is not central to Islam, or says that beard is not an essential part of Islam because there are many Muslims who don't sport a beard. The personal laws of minorities have been protected and they have been given a right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. Now lately, because I have just 10 minutes, so I'll skip how is the freedom of religion in the country. We got a party in power which is committed to majoritarianism And our federal culture minister recently talked of cleansing India's public discourse, culture and education of cultural pollution. The real meaning of this cultural cleansing is being seen in the murderous violence and threats against activists, writers, and filmmakers, and bans on free speech, on non-vegetarian food, and organized intimidation against interfaith friendships, love, and marriage, all by a range of Hindu majoritarian outfits with the tacit backing of the ruling party, in spite of the Prime Minister's promise of protecting diversity and moratorium on communal rights. Last week also in London, the Prime Minister said that diversity is India's strength and Sufism is the best antidote to terrorism. But there has been quite a hate speech in last few months in India from the ruling party, and I'll quickly quote some of the statements from the MPs and ministers. So the ruling party leading member said that Hindus should marry 100 Muslim women for every Hindu marrying a Muslim woman, saying that dig out dead bodies of Muslim women and rape them. RSS, which is an organization which is not a political party but which supports the government from behind, has specifically said India belongs to Hindus, Hindustan is our nation, a Rashtra of Hindus. Now we are in a position to weigh and assert our power which ensures our success. Currently, circumstances are in our favor. This is after Prime Minister was elected last year. Defended religious conversion, RSS defends religious conversion as Ghar Wapsi or homecoming. And the RSS chief is on record to say we are creating a Hindu society. Another rightist organization is Vishv Hindu Parishad, and I'm quoting this man who passed away today, Ashok Singhal, at the age of 89. He said Prithvi Raj had established the Hindu rule 800 years ago. Once again, Hindus are in power. This is about secular India. The federal culture minister is on record to say Bible and Quran are not central souls of India. APJ Abdul Kalam, our former president who died a few months back, he said he was a nationalist despite being a Muslim. And Shiv Sena, another constituent of the ruling party, is on record to say scrap voting rights of Muslim community. The party president of the ruling party, Mr. Amit Shah, is on record to say that we want a central law on conversion. There are few states in India which ban conversion if it is on the basis of inducement or allurement. Now the president himself is on record to say we want a central law. Now what is the effect of this religious intolerance? Agriculture is down 2 years in a row to just 1.1% in the first year and now is steeply hurting towards negativity in the second. Manufacturing is now at 5%. Few years back, it was at 14%. Exports are wallowing at minus 21%. Rupee is at its lowest. Gold imports in October 2015 plunged to 59.5% to $1.7 billion. His Excellency, Mr. Nasir Abdulaziz Al Nasir of United Nations, High Representative of United Nations Alliance of Civilization, was in Delhi a fortnight ago, and he said, and I quote, social harmony for sustainable development, promoting understanding and respect in a time of intolerance is important. He said there exists a strong interconnection and notions of social harmony, sustainable development, and promoting understanding and respect. Our former Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh, who himself is an economist, just about a fortnight ago, he also said, the prerequisite for innovation, entrepreneurship, and competition is an open society and a liberal polity where individuals are free to pursue their ideas. Suppression of dissent, of free speech poses a grave danger for economic development. There can be no free market without freedom. For a society that is progressive, the former Prime Minister said, peace in the country was essential not just for human existence and survival, but also for economic growth and development, unquote. He also said it is love and respect of diversity, secularism and pluralism that are vital for the survival of the republic. In the convocation address at IIT Delhi, the governor of the Central Reserve Bank of India also said, he spoke about the marketplace of ideas, about free exchange of creative thought, which led to the very basics of development, on the role of tolerance and economic development. He referred to the spirit of inquiry and environment of debate as fundamentals of a successful society. Taking a jibe at intolerance, he said, and I quote, excessive political correctness stifles progress as much as excessive license and disrespect. Exactly a year and a half ago, the words that resonated through the length and breadth of the country were development, investment, and jobs. Today, the phrases that dominate public discourse are ghar wapsi, reconversion, love jihad or love conquest, Ramzadeh versus Haramzadeh, Ram's children versus bastards. Look at the number of things we ban in India today. Beef, jeans, books, cuss words, NGOs, websites, internet services. Look at the growing exclusiveness. One company recently responded within hours of a Muslim gentleman applying there, we do not hire Muslims. There has been some reference about cow slaughter. Number of laws have been passed. Just 2 days ago, the president has assented to the law passed in northern state of Haryana. Just one last line. 50,000 people lost jobs within Maharashtra in the leather industry. On leather industry, 2.5 million people, majority of the Dalits are dependent. And if leather industry is in problem, then definitely these people would lose their jobs and their livelihood. I would just conclude by saying that only greater freedoms for religions and other identity-based groups can lead to social harmony. Repression of religions and identity-based groups lead to social violence, not harmony. Only allowing religious believers to contribute to society will the country ensure its economic stability. Hope, as the Martin Wright once said, is not a political virtue, but it is a religious one. It will take the best of faith to defeat the worst of religious nationalism and build an Indian society whose growth in GDP, as in religious freedom, can be counted on in the long term. Thank you very much.